Today it's time for a professional match of StarCraft 2, and what I've got for you is a Protoss versus Terran, where we find ourselves on the map Lightshade. Now, I was just looking at a couple of different games that I could potentially cast for today, and then I came across this replay. I know nothing of it, I just know that it was recently played during the Olimo League, and that the replay timer is ridiculously long. Now, generally speaking, especially in this matchup, Protoss versus Terran, we don't really have super long games. So I'm excited to figure out what ends up going down. So spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade, playing with the red Protoss probes, we have Creator. And his opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Terran SCVs, he goes by the name of ByuN. Now, I think more often than not, if you were to pick a favorite between these two players, pretty much everyone would go ahead and pick ByuN, myself included as well. But that does not mean that Creator is not a strong player. Creator is one of those guys who on a good day can beat literally anyone out there, right? But he's very unlikely to actually win a tournament. And I don't really mean that with any disrespect. There's just like a bunch of pro gamers that, you know, play at a very high level that just, you know, wouldn't really win a tournament very quickly. So other names, for example, would be guys like Bunny, Ragnarok, Armani, maybe even DRG, right? Like, there's a bunch of guys. Okay, that was a bit sloppy. There's a bunch of guys that are very capable and can beat anyone. And obviously, they have won tournaments in the past as well. But I don't think anyone would really pick them as the tournament favorite, at the very least. Whereas someone of the caliber of ByuN, of course, or of ByuN, of course, I mean, this guy has won it all, right? He's won pretty much everything throughout his career. And, yeah. What I'm trying to say is that I think the odds are going to be pretty heavily in favor right here of the Terran player, but that does not mean that Creator does not have a chance. And maybe he'll be surprising us. Already though, ByuN decided to skip the Reaper for some reason. He's been doing this a lot in his games, which I still think is a little bit ironic considering his history when it comes to the Reaper in particular. He decided to send out an SCV though this time around. Blocks the opponent's natural from going down. Eventually though, after that, what's it called? The engineering bay gets killed. He will start up the Nexus here, Creator that is, and he's going to start chrono boosting out the very first Adept. Zealot already, ready to give his life for ire. He's doing the Power Ranger walk, like the Naruto run. If you keep your right blade in front of you, you run faster. Did you know that? Anyways, just a little tip for those of you that have side blade arms. ByuN has decided to follow this up actually with a triple barracks opener. Okay. So, already a bit of a strange game here. He's going to be pumping out a ton of Marines. Probably will go for a couple of tech labs right here on these newly acquired ones. But obviously this means that there's not going to be any Hellions. There's not going to be any Widow Mines anytime soon. There's not going to be any Medivacs. All of that will be quite heavily delayed. Now, I don't expect either of these two to be able to do anything. This Adept is certainly not going to be able to kill a supply depot. And these Marines are not likely to kill the Adept either. But it's just a little bit of poking and prodding. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, unsurprisingly, we already do see that Twilight Council coming up right now for Creator. This is, of course, the most standard opener for Protoss. I mean, we see this one more often than not. You can go straight into Blink. You could even go into Dark Templar if you wanted to as well. But Blink seems to be very popular. There you go. Just because it's nice against pretty much everything. Now, as you may have already noticed by those massive letters rotating around on his Nexus there, Creator is indeed on Team NV. Are you guys going to continue battling here? Alright. Did he actually get a Marine? Oh yeah, we got 3 of them. I was so busy looking at a Twilight Council that I wasn't actually paying very close attention over here. Shouldn't really matter too much though. But he is on Team NV. Joined a little while ago. On that team we have guys like, for example, Maru and also SOS. I mean, those are some of the highest ranked players that we have ever had. SOS always a bit of a wild card, but just in case you're unfamiliar, SOS won the World Championship Series twice. So he's the only StarCraft 2 professional who actually was the world champion of StarCraft 2 times. Which is pretty uncommon. Now, good control so far by Creator, though. Actually gets into the main base right now as well, but I think that was bait. ByuN purposely leaving the depot down, inviting his opponent in. Could potentially get the kill. Now, indeed, it is going to be 2 tech labs right here on these newly acquired barracks. So he's going to be able to go in for the combat shield as well as the Stimpack upgrade. Now, obviously, Stimpack, when you don't have any Medivacs, is basically the equivalent of gunning down your own army for like 20% of its health. It's, I don't really know exactly how much damage Stimpack does, but if you can't heal them back up, it's very painful. Creator is currently powering pretty much everything right here with 1 pylon, which, you know, always makes me a little bit concerned. Okay, backup pylon coming in over there, but that one is not going to be in range of the robo, I don't think, so... shouldn't really matter too much, but... I mean, you can always... Yeah, you can always get some damage. Now, the thing is, this is like... This Stimpack hurts. These units are going to be in yellow until there's going to be any medivacs out. Right? So, yeah, okay. They were just excited to use their combat drugs, except for Jimmy. Jimmy had been poked at by an adept earlier, so he's the one, apparently, who's going to be scouting. Poor Jimmy, man. Jimmy was one of the original crew. ByuN, no! Don't be a monster. Creator, though, anticipating that Jimmy was going to head on over to that third Nexus as well, he's going to be denying that scout from the Terran. Now, this is such a strange opener here from ByuN. Just a ton of Marines and Marauders. I believe this was a build that we saw back in the day, but then it was played more like an all-in. Once again, good scout right here by Creator. Sees everything. Knows exactly where these units are. Concussive shell is done. Yeah, so you gotta be careful here, but Blink obviously has finished up as well in the meantime, so those Stalkers should be able to get out of there. Colossus right now is a follow-up. So the Colossi obviously very powerful. If you can get those guys out, especially against Marines, they deal bonus damage against light, and even though these boys have found their shields, they're gonna be burning to death very, very easily against Colossi. So it's mostly just a stepping stone, right? You use the Blink Stalkers right here. You can get aggressive with them as well if your name is Parting. However, you can also use them very nicely defensively. For example, Widowmine drops are very popular in this matchup, right? And you can intercept all of that really well if you are a good player. That does mean, though, that we just have ourselves a nice little macro game. I mean, judging by the fact that we know that this game is rather long, I don't think that's too surprising. Barracks 4 and 5 are going to be coming up right now for ByuN as well. +1 infantry weapons is going to finish up here shortly. The 2 medevacs are finally out, so everyone should be patched up pretty easily here. Now, this is starting to be a pretty scary, like, Terran force, though. We're currently up to 9 Marauders and 25 Marines. If that Colossus gets sniped, or if you miss one force field, that's basically game over. So the Creator is going to have to be on point right here with his control. Alright. So far, so good. Once again, there's only 2 medevacs, right? So you can definitely heal your units up over time, but it's going to take a while. These medevacs do not have infinite amounts of healing, obviously. Observer is now gonna scout exactly what the follow-up is as well. The Pervert Server. I'm a fan, man. Protoss players have gotten real good at just putting these dudes in very helpful positions without the Terran player actually noticing it. I've seen this now a bunch of times over the last couple of casts. You'd imagine that Terran players are gonna be very distinctly... Like, you don't see it, right? Like, you see this little blur as a Terran player. It's kind of difficult to spot, but you'd imagine they're gonna be staring at it, at least to the best of their abilities. There's a couple of these set up all over the map. I mean, these are going to be difficult to spot. That one's really just there to spot any incoming medivacs. Dark Shrine is a follow-up right now as well from Creator. Yeah, this is mostly just ByuN trying to do a little bit of poking and prodding. I don't think that main army is really going to take too much damage. Maybe over here something can be done, but once again, good splitting here from Creator. Puts the 2 giraffes right here in... They're dedicated spots, right? It's kind of sad. Do you think these antennae right here at the front are their eyes? Like, how does it does it have, like, it's like a bug, right? I think this is its face right over here. It's kind of like with the Stalkers. They also have their face at the bottom of their you see that? Like, they have like a... Stop it, dude, I'm busy. They also have like a little scarf, right? Just like the Dark Templar. I think that has to be their face. Okay, I'm actually curious now. How tall is a Colossus according to the lore? Oh, wow, okay. So a Colossus is supposed to have a height of 17 stories. That's approximately 170 feet or 51.8 meters. What in the world? Alrighty. That's, yeah. Alright, that's pretty big. Obviously in StarCraft 2, in the multiplayer... Is he really gonna commit here, really? Okay. He's doing the classic ByuN 1-2 punch, though. Yeah, I should be able to force the cancel right here on that 4th. Nicely done. But obviously in the StarCraft lore, we never really... Or sorry, in like the multiplayer version of StarCraft 2, we never really see like the true size of units. Because when you think about it, even these Marauders must be massive, right? If you assume that, like, one of those Marine guys is probably, like, 6 foot or whatever. Yeah, even the Marauders are big. Like, even the Stalkers are, like, you know, a house. Either way. Ooh, no council this time around. Disruptor, though, available. Okay, Disruptor does get sniped there, but not before it took down a whole lot of those Terran units as well. At the same time, it looks like there was actually a bit of a Zealot drop inside of the main base. A couple of Dark Templar right now are moving into the natural expansion, and they're attempting to go into the main base. Just steps right outside of the circle there on hold position. It's going to be able to get quite a bunch of damage done, yeah. Dark Templar over here, actually, I wasn't quite paying close attention there, but that one also has got 5 kills. And all of a sudden, you blink twice, half a mineral line is gone. Widowmine's still being a nuisance over here at the front as well, but Disruptors are going to be able to take care of those just fine. If Creator didn't end up losing this Nexus twice, this would have been a really good position for him to be in. Now, he is still sitting at 69 workers. That's, you know, not gonna lie, that's pretty nice. Oh, wow. That's cute. Oh, did you see that? Okay. That is something we don't often see. Hope it doesn't bite him in the butt here with all of these Marauders coming up, but if you don't have vision, you can still kill it just by friendly fire. No, I think the Immortal is gonna be, well, pretty much back to full health here by the time that all of these units arrive. That said, though, ooh, apparently there's a big run-by or fly-by right now attempted here by the Terran player. Once again, a couple units here trying to get some work done, but not really achieving too much. This time around, there is an observer present. So this is already a very ByuN-esque game, right? When it works well, it works really well. Lots of multi-pronged harassment. But every once in a while, we see one of those games from ByuN, and everything he tries to do, right? Every single attempted medevac drop inside of the opponent's main base just gets picked up, and then all of a sudden it looks a little bit foolish. Sometimes it feels like he can play himself a little bit in that sense, you know? Like he's very busy trying to outsmart his opponent, but then the opponent just guns everything down and it looks kind of dumb. Either way, High Templar may very well be coming up here soon, but it's not available yet. Massive EMP, though. Blankets pretty much the entirety of that Protoss army. Look at all the shields that are gone right now. That's, of course, that ghost spell. Once again, ByuN is going to attempt doing this. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, like, it's such a gamble because you know the Stalkers are there. If you end up losing, like, 2 or 3 of those medevacs on the way there, you basically lose everything. Good control there by the Terran player, as expected, except for that guy. Sorry, buddy. He just disappeared. This Warp Prism over here has been happily warping in a bunch of stuff here for a while already. This is one of the things that can definitely set back a Terran player, right? Because when you think about it, Terrans really have to focus most of their attention on their army. Unlike, for example, Zerg, where oftentimes the advice is just to attack move and not really look at the battle too much. Yeah, not bad. Terran has to actively look at their forces, because otherwise they take a massive disruptor to the face. Those Zealot run-bys, because of that, can especially deal a lot of damage. Now, there wasn't really a whole lot going on there. So, for some reason, those couple of Zealots still ended up killing a tremendous amount. These Dark Templar, yeah, also get a couple kills here. So far, this is looking pretty neat. Creator has now killed a grand total of 29 SCVs. Already, though, the 4th command center has been acquired. Right around the same time as the 5th Nexus is coming up here, too. So, good position right now for the Protoss player. Now, we've seen this sort of scenario many times before, right? This is where I get very curious about what actually ends up going down here. In, I guess, like, the second half of the match. Because it's kind of undiscovered territory. This should be fun. The Perfect Observer. Licking his lips. Observing all of the things. Peeping through the window. Oh. Okay. Oh, lucky shot. Lucky shot. We see those attempted so many times. And it almost never works out. But that's why the observers are there, right? When you know where the opponent's army is at, you can just, you know, move your disruptor in. Just give it a try. See how it goes. Good amount of damage there. Was indeed dealt. Both players are going to be able to start up their last upgrades for their basic units. Are we going to be going into a Skytools transition from here as well, actually? I think so, judging by the fact that there's already a fleet beacon coming up. High Templar do have their Storm, so there we go. A lot of Terran, a lot of Protoss players right now seem to be opting to forego the High Templar altogether, just because of the fact that there's already ghosts out, but... Oh my god, well, yeah, maybe they should. No, I think this will still be pushed back, considering the rest of the army came over here. This time around, this is not a double-pronged push. If there would have been a medivac drop over here, it could deal quite a bit of damage, but luckily here for Creator, that is not the case. Now here's the big Skytoss transition, guys. There's a couple of Stargates available right now. They're going to be making the Protoss capital ships. The carriers are going to be coming out here very shortly, 3 at a time. They take about 7.5 years to produce, though. Love the fact that he already has started upgrading those flyer upgrades as well. Every single interceptor ship that comes out of those carriers gets a bunch of additional damage. They actually shoot twice, so every single, like the interceptors that is, every single one of these upgrades basically increase the damage of by +2 for each interceptor. And since they can carry up to 8, the attack upgrades are absolutely tremendous. Once again, Zealot run by over at this third base. Not the first time we've seen that. It's done a good amount of damage. Wow, snipes being used right here. Or steady targeting, I guess, by the ghosts. Still a bunch of SCVs get killed. I love the splitting here that Creator is constantly doing here with his army. Okay, Disruptors. Okay, this time around won't really get too much damage done because they get sniped before the Purification Nova went off. At the same time, there is once again a Zealot run by, but that one will be intercepted. Marauders, though, are moving forward, and they get the kill right there on the Colossus. Nicely done. Disruptors, though... Oof. Just barely gets sniped there in time as well. Battery overcharge is going to be utilized here by Creator, so he's going to be able to grab himself at least a couple more kills. Now, only a handful of Marines actually remain here, so the carriers can definitely get some work done. Well, I said that, and then more reinforcements came in. Colossi, though, very powerful. You can see that Creator really doesn't have a lot of meat to his army, right? He just has very strong units. Not a lot of units, but very strong ones. Alright, look at the small numbers here. This is actually like the Protoss fantasy, right? Small armies, but each and every one of the units is like a hero. That's essentially the lore of the Protoss. Pretty sick. I'm a fan. Alright. So, where do you go right now if you're Creator? Do you go for the Death Bowl? Do you just try and make one big army? If so, do you add on the Mothership as well? Already, we see Vikings being produced, though. Obviously, Vikings are good against both Colossi as well as those carriers, so... Should be an interesting late-game battle. At the same time, we now also see that Fusion Core coming up. Every time I see this, I get excited because I think it's Colossi... Or, sorry, I think it's Battlecruisers, and then I realize they've moved the Advanced Ballistics upgrade over. So, the Advanced Ballistics upgrade gives the Liberator some additional range. Back in my day, okay, we used to just get it in a tech lab. These days, apparently, you have to get a fusion core for it. It's actually a very nice change. Makes it much better. I actually think it's mostly considered to be a buff. But anyways, that's a story for another time. Marines and Marauders, man. Lots of them have already been sacrificed so far. Next base here also acquired. Sadly, and this hurts me a little bit, it's mispositioned. That's okay, ByuN. It's okay, buddy. So far, the traits have been remarkably even as far as minerals go. That observer does get spotted. The pervert observer. How many Vikings are we at right now? Only 4. Okay, yeah, he's pumping out a bunch of them at once. The problem is you need to manually micro those Vikings, right? If you don't micro them yourself, they're going to be fighting the interceptors, and the interceptors are fine. There's actually only 3 carriers. I was going to say, the interceptors are fine to take care of, but you really want them to be target firing down either the carriers or the Colossi. Here's the Guardian shields being popped, though, and I think, indeed, Creator is ready to take a big battle. Bit of an awkward fight, though, because the Colossi are spending most of their time walking around. Storm, indeed, does go down. Nice pickup right there as well on side of that, or inside of that prism. That was a bit of a wonky battle there to take. Pretty sure that this third base will be picked off. Will the Terran units also be able to go home? I think they will. As a matter of fact, actually, ByuN seems like he wants to continue to fight there. Once again, yeah, he led some beautiful EMPs. Very helpful. There's no more energy, I don't think, for a storm there. Or maybe he just wasn't ready to lend another one of those psionic storms. Oh, well, there you go. There was indeed a little bit of energy remaining. And now all of a sudden, a lot of ghosts that were low HP earlier are now being picked off. My god. They do not get any training, right? When it comes to dying as being a stealth assassin. For a stealth assassin, look, all I'm trying to say is that they make a lot of noise when they die. You have a bunch of different ghost skins in StarCraft 2, and some of them say something like, never say die, or something like that, right? And then you have another skin, apparently the one that ByuN is running, where they're like, ah! 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 For a ghost assassin, you guys really have to be a little bit more stealthy, man, even in death. Alright, well, anyways. Here's the fleet of Vikings, though. There's quite a lot of them right now. Yeah, they're gonna be picking off these Colossi. So even though the Stalkers are trying to gun it down, Archon actually now gets underneath as well. Not bad. All of the Vikings at this point have disappeared, but I don't think either player can really commit here. Another one of the observers gets sniped. I would love to see Creator continue the Stargate units, but I guess he just doesn't have the money for it right now. He ended up losing that third base, right? So he's really trying to see if he can potentially close out the game right here, right now. The old main base has been flown on over as well towards the 12 o'clock position, so ByuN is still happily mining. The fact that they can lift up structures is obviously fantastic, super helpful in these kind of scrappy scenarios. Rather than having to be, or rather than having to commit rather a ton of additional resources to making a new base, you can just fly on over your old one instead. Well, the Terran has been cut off from his own lifeline though, which is a bit shaky, right? He could potentially run back into the main base, I guess, with this army. Can always pick up and get there, I guess, with the Medivacs too, but ByuN needs to be careful that he's not accidentally going to be fighting this entire Protoss army with half of his own units. There's two distinct Terran forces at this point, whereas most of the Protoss army has been grouped up together. There's one Widow Mine actually at that position as well, so... Okay, where are they gonna go? Are they gonna be joining the battle? Is he... No. Thought for a second he was pulling the boys. Okay, so here we go. Apparently this is the moment where ByuN decides to pull the trigger and where Creator is gonna be able to take a battle. Colossi still stays alive until just now. Is there gonna be enough actually for the Terran player to clean all of this up? Big warp in right now as well. There's not enough to gun down the Prism. One of the carriers ends up going down. The Vikings are busy shooting down either the Colossi or all of those carriers. I think they should have probably gone after the Prism. There we go. It's gonna be picked off. During all of this, though, 18 SCVs were killed as well. The command center was forced to lift off, and Creator now actually has a supply advantage. He fights himself, or he finds himself with a much bigger army. That one, sadly, will get picked off for basically free. That's a lot of supply. I think that this base actually will be sniped as well. Despite the fact that it can fly, doesn't do so very quickly. Fleet Beacon gets killed. New Nexus is getting acquired over here as well. I don't know if you actually saw that there's a Widow Mine over there, but all of these probes going over towards that Widow Mine would really suck. Anyways, once again, apparently a bunch of the Terran units have decided to stim down the ramp. Not quite gonna happen. Okay. This point, yeah, he's hunting. He's like, wait, there's supposed to be a base here. Alright. That expansion is mostly mined out. Apparently the orbital command is trying to find a safe haven here closer to the planetary is what it's looking for. The planetary is going to be difficult to kill, though Immortals don't mess around. You just have to be very careful that you don't find yourself sandwiched between a freaking planetary and then a Terran army. I think that's exactly what's happening at this point. There's really not that much splash damage anymore here for Creator. Does land some good force fields, though. Ooh, that's not bad at all. The boys are now pulled into the battle as well, but Creator decides to pull the trigger and decides to recall on out of there. Okay. Bit of an overextension. ByuN, though, effectively right now only has one base economy, whereas this new Nexus is gonna finish up here up north for Creator. There's a new Colossus over here. Battery overcharge, always something you have to keep in mind, right? So if you, well, would love to see a shield battery over here too. If you want to keep your Colossi up. I mean, these Colossi are gonna be fantastic against mostly this marine-based army. ByuN has seen, apparently, the base up here. Oh, the Widow Mine actually has moved over there. Okay, it's got 7 kills. 6 kills, I think, were just acquired. Blink is done, of course, for the DTs. Okay, well, this is some nice movement here for ByuN, though. Not using Stimpack this time around. He knows he's got time. He knows that most of the army is down south for the Protoss, so that Nexus will indeed be killed pretty easily. Most of the probes are still alive. We are now effectively back to one base eco though, right? For both. I mean, there's like 8 mineral patches that the both of them are mining. Each. Maybe a little bit more, but there's really not that much. Stalkers apparently are forcing the aggression from most of these SCVs. They can indeed go behind the mineral line. Ooh, at the same time though, force fields can change the tide of battle really nicely. This is becoming exceptionally scrappy right now. God, these Colossi have been fantastic. Look at the Stalkers over here though. No, don't move, don't move. You don't want to be in range of the, yeah, no, just hold position. You don't want to be in range of the planetary. SCVs decide to float on over towards the 12 o'clock position once more. Creator has so many Colossi though, yeah. He's playing a very cool style. I don't actually know who's winning here. Since the main counter right now to these Colossi is just, like, if these Marauders are gone, these Colossi will kill everything. Other than, I guess, the Medivacs, because even though they're like 17 stories tall, they still can't shoot up. That makes no sense, but doesn't matter. Okay. A little bit of mining going on over here. You know what? Misplacing this command center is actually... It's gonna cost him at least a couple hundred resources at this point. Well, the Terran army actually is distracted. They decided to leave the 12 o'clock position alone, so that means that a ton of SCVs will be killed. And I think, indeed, the orbital command as well. At the same time, maybe ByuN was hoping he could find a newly acquired base here from the Protoss player, so he could trade a base for a base. The army, though, is just walking around, kills a couple probes, and that's fine and all. Creator decides to recall once more. Where does he go? To the natural? Okay. ByuN scans right now and realizes, wait, there's only a couple of units. Where's the rest of it? These two Stalkers, by the way, are denying this entire expansion from mining. Okay, finally, ByuN decides to lift up the orbital again. Puts it on this this awkward position. We never really see these bases mined very often in this matchup, but fantastic scout right here by Creator. Sees exactly what's going on, and he knows what his opponent is planning on. I think what you do right now, if you're Creator, you just focus all of your attention down south, right? So he's got a Zealot up north. He knows that that base is not mining. He knows that this base will probably not be reacquired either because of the low amounts of minerals. He can just walk over in this direction, right? ByuN is going to have to fight these bases down south. I guess he could technically go for the main base. Actually, 2 Disruptors here are coming up. Regardless, yeah, that orbital will also be killed. And now Creator is knocking back the income right here for ByuN to the Stone Age. I mean, look at this. 0 mineral income. 0 income here. ByuN still has 105 army supply, though, versus Creator, who has got 110. This Nexus will be killed, but that one's irrelevant. Disruptor. Lucky hit, lucky hit, lucky hit. Gets a couple Marines, not bad. It's a cooldown-based ability, so... Once again, any unit right now counts. It's very different when your opponent has absolutely no income, right? There's still some mining over here. Oh, really? Bro, okay, alright. I was gonna say, there's pretty much no way that ByuN obtains the victory here. Bit anticlimactic there, ByuN. A little bit anticlimactic, so I went back to the last couple of seconds of the game. ByuN saw here that there was absolutely no chance that he could take on this army, right, in a head-on battle. He knew that there was still a base that was mining down below. So because of that, he's like, yeah, I can't fight this army, so I guess I just leave. That being said, I guess... As a viewer, right, it would be fun if we could see this army clash one more time. Best case scenario, I think, in these kind of battles here for ByuN. I mean, this is fightable, I guess, but best case scenario is that he trades evenly, right? And that's pretty much never going to happen against a Protoss player who's up in army supply and even in upgrades. Especially, yeah, best case scenario, I mean, you trade evenly right here, and then you know that your Protoss opponent still is mining and you're not, right? Even if it's only a handful of minerals, you can see actually Creator right now is ready to do a big warp in too. If he just warps in one more group of units, he's going to be close to maxing out, and he's got the resources for it. Not the supply, I guess, but the resources. A little bit anticlimactic here as an ending, but it is what it is. Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Even though I think most of you probably would have predicted ByuN to take this one, it is indeed going to be Creator who obtains the victory. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. For now though, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.